Let's continue with our further topic about Newton's universal law of gravitation. Sir Isaac Newton, you must have heard about him. Sir Isaac Newton was a great scientist of recent years. Once he happened to sit under a tree and an apple fall on his head. Instead of picking up the apple and eating, he picked up the apple and thought why the apple came down to meet the earth, why the apple did not fly up, why the apple did not move in an inclined plane or inclined angle with the earth, why it came in a perpendicular direction to the earth's surface. So he it came to his mind about there is some attraction to the earth which is attracting all the substance, all the particles from the earth. The apples on the tree are at different heights, but the gravity which is acting on every apple is same. It made him to think all this and helped him to derive the laws. He gave laws of motion, equations of motion, and theory of gravity. As you know, earlier we have learned about Kepler's three laws of planetary motion. But the reason why planets move in that manner was not known. So it helped Newton to put the theory of gravity mathematically, and he derived Kepler's law and formulated the theory of gravity. According to this theory, every object in the universe attracts other object with a definite force. The gravitational force of attraction between these two bodies can be written as. First of all, let's think about the two objects. Here you could see two objects. Any two objects you can take from the universe or from your surrounding. It can be two people also. So, M1 is one object and M2 is another object. Here we have considered M1 as M is related with or it is denoted as mass. So, mass of one object and the mass of another object. So, two objects are there at a distance of r from each other and the force is acting on each other. That means the force from object M1 and the force from object M2. Now wherever the force is acting, that force we consider it as the gravitational force. So the gravitation force, according to the Newton, every particle on this planet or on this earth is having gravitational force. Now let's see gravitational force which is exerted by M1 is F1 and the gravitational force which is exerted by M2 is F2. The distance between them is R. Now the distance is considered from the center of that object. So you could see R comes from the center of both the objects. So distance doesn't come from physical, but the distance comes from the average density of that object. So what he derived here is the gravitational force in between these two objects is directly proportional to m1 multiplied by m2 divided by r square. So, the force in between the two objects or the gravitational force of attraction between two bodies is directly proportional to the product of two objects or the product of two bodies. It can be the particles, it can be the human being also. So, the product means product of M1 and M2 as well as the force is inversely proportional to r square, that is the distance between these two. Now inverse proportionality and direct proportionality, you know why r square is in denominator and why m1 and m2 is in numerator. To make both the proportionality equal, we take a constant. And here what is the constant? The constant is gravitational force. Still a constant, that is a gravitational force which is acting on both the object. Whose gravitational force is constant? Earth's. Earth's gravitational force is constant on every object, on every body of the Earth, which is present on the Earth. So that constant we call it as constant of proportionality. It is G. We denote it as capital G and it is called as gravitation constant. Unit of G is Newton meter square kg square. That is unit of G is Newton meter square per kg square. Newton stands for force. Meter is the distance between the two objects and kg square is m1 and m2. Mass of one object and the mass of another object becomes square. Now, as the value of g is constant, so we have that value already which has been derived by the scientist, and that value is g is equal to 6.673 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This value of G doesn't change, and this value of G is for 1 kg mass which is at 1 meter apart. 1 kg mass of two objects which is at 1 meter apart. So, if both the objects are 1 kg and they are at distance of 1 meter from each other, that means the value of G is considered here as 6.673 multiplied by 10 raised to 11, 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Now, where we were considering these two objects are particular in shape, that is spherical in shape. But if the mass becomes double, if one of the objects mass becomes double, then what will happen? If the mass becomes double, then force also doubles. Why force doubles? Because force is directly proportional to m1, m2. If mass increases, then force also has to increase. Therefore, they are directly proportionality. Then think, if distance double, if these two objects go apart from each other, then what will be the force? Force will be 4 times that of the previous one. If two bodies are spherical, then the direction of force is always along the line joining the center of that bodies. But if two bodies are irregular in shape, then if the two bodies are irregular in shape, like if two bodies are human beings, they are not the balls, they are not the particular spheres, they are not the planets, but you think of irregular shape. If two human beings are sitting, then from where you will take the center? The center can come within inside or center can be outside the body. So that is the density of the body has to be considered as the average and the center is taken as per the density of the object. So from the center of that object to the center of the other object, we consider it as the distance. Here you see an planet or an object moving along a circular path we call it as a circular object or orbit, and the force is coming from in between, that is from the center, and the circular path which is being made by the circular motion of that object, it gets a distance, we call it as a radius. That object is having mass and it is having velocity. This velocity which you could see, velocity 1 and velocity 2. This velocity which you could see here, these velocities are called as acceleration velocity, velocity due to acceleration, that is due to the movement of circular motion. So this is acceleration velocity which you could see it is tangential to the circle. We call it as tangent to the circle. Could see this is called as tangent to the, it is called as tangent to the circle. So the velocity is at the tangent to the circular path, and this we call it as acceleration due to circular motion. The same thing which we were talking about, uniform circular motion and the magnitude or magnitude of centripetal force. How much is the centripetal force? Strong or either weak. Centripetal force can be strong or either weak. As the planets, if we are talking about sun and the planets, if the planets are far away from the sun, what do you think? How much will be the force? The force which is exerted by the sun on that planet will be weak, not strong. So only these planets are very far away from the sun. Some planets are close to the sun, some planets are far away from the sun, but they move around the sun in a particular orbit. Let's find the distance, or let's find the magnitude of centripetal force. How to find centripetal force? First, we know that speed is equal to distance traveled upon time. This formula is been known to you. So, if this speed has to be calculated into a circular path, so we have to consider naturally the centripetal force. So the centripetal force acting on that planet, it is F is equal to mv square. Could see? Yes. F is equal to mv square upon r. First derive the formula of force. As we know, force is equal to ma. As you know, force is equal to ma. So, m is the mass and a is the acceleration due to velocity which is in circular motion. Now here, naturally circular motion is having the radius, so we have to consider a as v square upon r. So we have considered a is equal to v square upon r. So m into a, that means m multiplied by v square upon r. M means mass of the object, v is the speed, r is the radius of the circle made by the circular path where the planet is revolving around the sun. If the planet is revolving around a circular orbit, then the centripetal force acting on the planet is F is equal to mv square. F is equal to mv square upon r. The distance traveled by planet in one revolution. Revolution of the planet is in circular orbit. So, circle, the distance of the circle, we find it as the perimeter, and the perimeter of the circle or the perimeter of the orbit is the circumference of the circle. Now, the circumference of the circle, we have the formula that is 2 pi r. So, the perimeter of the orbit will be 2 pi r and time taken will be t, that is period of revolution. The time taken to revolve in one revolution, that is t. Now, let's consider V is equal to see this formula. I am highlighting it. Please read out. What is V? V is equal to distance traveled upon time taken. Now, how much distance traveled? That is one revolution. And time taken is t. Distance traveled upon time taken. Distance travel is 2 pi r and time taken is t. Okay. So, V is equal to distance traveled upon time taken for completing that revolution. Now we have to put this value of V in our formula, that is F is equal to mv square upon r. Let's put the formula mv square upon r. Let's put the formula of V in this. F is equal to mv square upon r. F is equal to mv square upon r. We'll substitute the value of v square. We'll get m 2 pi r upon t the whole square upon r. M 4 pi square r square upon t square upon r. So we'll get m 4 pi square this r, and here the numerator r will get cancelled. So we'll get r upon t square. Multiplying and dividing this equation by r square, we will get m 4 pi square r upon t square multiplied by r square upon r square. So here we'll get 4 m 4 pi square r cube upon t square r square. We'll arrange this equation. M 4 pi square r cube upon r square t square. As soon as r cube and t square comes numerator denominator, you have seen this equation somewhere. It is Kepler's constant. So equal to m 4 pi square upon r square multiplied by r cube upon t square according to Kepler's law. We have t square upon r cube as constant. So therefore 4m pi square upon r cube multiplied by 1 upon k. Therefore 4m pi square upon k multiplied by 1 upon r square. 4m pi square upon k is constant. Therefore f is equal to 1 upon r square into k. F is inversely proportional to r square, means the square of the distance of the planet and the sun. Force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance of the planet and the sun.